Reviewing some of the messages I've been getting from lots of you on the YouTube comments and on my Facebook group, and saying that you would really like to learn to play hymns better, play for your church, all that. So I've been thinking about this for a little bit. Takes me a little while to think about things a little bit, how that goes. But anyhow, I've been thinking about this, and going from my experience of playing in the churches for 40 years, from Baptist to Methodist to Presbyterian to Unitarian to Catholic, you name it, I've probably played for it. So, anyhow, going from that experience, I've played all kinds of different styles of hymns. And did you know that when you're learning to play hymnody, you have to learn how each hymn has its unique characters and qualities depending on when it was written, when it was wrote, when it was wrote. Wrote is a method we learned by piano. I'm being silly. All right. So when it was written and who wrote it, and just so many things, what tradition it comes from. It might come from the shape note singing tradition. It might come from the Fannie J. Crosby kind of gospel tradition. It might be an English kind of chorale type hymn, or German chorale kind of hymn. And it might be, many things out there. And I'm just going to show you a few of them today. But when you're learning to play hymns for church, you have to understand where these hymns are coming from. For instance, right here, I have gotten um, the Episcopal Hymn Book out. And this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous tune by Thomas Tallis in England, back from the 1500s. It's called the Third Tune, and it was edited by John Wilson in 1905. But then you hear this gorgeous harmony here. Just take a listen. And just hear a boys' choir singing that, or a congregation in England singing that with descants and a wonderful pipe organ and all of that. This is a very grandiose kind of a hymn, just a beautiful, beautiful tune. Now, at the same time, you might be in a small church that might sing that, but they also might sing something like this. Something with energy. It really gets the congregation going. An old Baptist hymn here that I've known from the hymnal from my youth, when I was 10 and 11 playing for the church. These kind of hymns are just so exciting and fun to sing. And I remember congregations in the small church where I grew up, they were just singing gusto at the top of their voice, and they would harmonize and do all this stuff. And it all came from, there's a wonderful pianist up front, and they would just go off, and they would just play these arpeggios and things based on the chords and all of that. And this is things you can do if you learn it right. All right. So the other type of hymn that you might run across is something that has a written out piano accompaniment. And this accompaniment goes the words and the melodies are above the piano accompaniment and all that. So, for instance, just made a mistake. You might have something written out in a style like that. Now, what do all of these hymns have in common? Congregations sing with them. That's the main thing they have in common. And if you're a pianist looking to play for your church, this is the first thing that you need to understand. And when you play these hymns, you've got to learn how to breathe with the congregation. You've got to learn how to to direct them with your rhythm. They're going to pick up that rhythm from the piano and they're going to be inspired to sing by that. These are the things that are important to learn if you are trying to play for your church or want to get there. So many times I hear people saying, well, I need somebody to accompany hymns at church. Well, you know, pianists aren't accompanying the hymns, even though you hear that term used a lot. They're leading the hymns, regardless whether they have a song leader up there or not. What the people hear is the rhythms coming from the piano and from the organ. I'm both pianist and organist. So you have to learn to play with the um, ability to breathe, to sing with the hymns, and all of that. And this takes a special kind of training to do that. And I'm going to be offering a special class just for hymn training and hymn playing. And if you're interested in this, I am going to put a link below where you can reach out to me because I'm going to design this for a certain amount of people to do this. And so if you want to come into that, that's the only thing this program is going to focus on is hymn playing. Now, I also teach the piano with ease, how to play with the ease and the motion so you're not hurting your hands and you're not getting all this tension built up. And actually, the two programs go together. But if you're more interested in learning to play the hymns, that's a great place to start if you want to play for your church. And sometime else, I might do something on popular music or jazz music and all of that. But for right now, those who are listening to this, who are interested in playing the hymns, to learn how to shape their hands, to play around the chords, to do all of that, and to have some fun, whether you're playing at home or whether you're playing for church. But if you play for the church, you've got to lead a group of singing. Okay? And that's where the real um, meat of the program comes in when teaching these hymns. It's more about it's not just reading the notes, I should say. Sometimes I trip over my words. If you find me tripping over my words, just be patient. I'll get around to the thought sooner or later. Okay, it just happens. It gets that way with age too. So, anyhow, enough of that. So, but it's about more than just reading the music. It's about feeling it. It's about taking those breaths. So, for instance, this old um, hymn, the Thomas Tallis tune here. Some of the breathing is built into the music with rest, some are not. See how this begins to get more complicated? It takes a certain amount of study to do this. I've done it for 40 years. I can help you out. So if you're interested, make a comment below. Go to uh, my Facebook group as well. I'll put that link below, and come join the conversation. And then I'm going to have a class just on him playing, and then a whole dedicated series of study on this. So if you're interested, let me know. And I thank you for listening in. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.